What is up, boys and girls and babes? It is week 11 of the NHL regular season, a week in which the Washington Capitals had 3 games, won all 3 of them, 2 of which they won in a shootout, and scored 13 goals, sort of. So we're going to do what we did last week, which is go goal by goal, really quickly. And then at the end, we will sort of summarize the week a little bit, and we will talk a great deal about one Mr. Alexander Ovechkin, whom I love. Okay, let's do it. The Washington Capitals win 6-2 over the Detroit Red Wings. The Washington Capitals win 6-5 in the shootout over the Carolina Hurricanes. And the Washington Capitals win 4-3 in the shootout over the Buffalo Sabres. Tuesday night, the Washington Capitals played the Detroit Red Wings. Nielsen goes off 2 minutes for tripping, and 3:39 into the first, Brett Connolly scores a power play goal, his 6th of the year, with assists from John Carlson and Evgeny Kuznetsov, putting the Caps up 1-0. At 10:50 into the first period, Travis Boyd, the only blonde man that I trust, scores his 2nd of the season to put the Caps up 2-0, with assists from Nick Dowd and Dmitry Yashkin. At 12:59 into the third, one Mr. Alexander Ovechkin, whomst I love, scores his 23rd of the season, putting the Caps up 3-0, with assists from, of course, Nicklas Backstrom and Michael Kempny. Caps are up 3-0 going into the first intermission, coming back for the second period. At 9:05 into the second period, one Mr. Alexander Ovechkin, whom I love, scores his 24th of the season, with assists from John Carlson and, of course, Nicklas Backstrom, putting the Caps up 4-0. 4-0. At this point, I'm like going, please don't let this be like the Ducks game. At 10:06 into the second period, TJ Oshie, whom I also love, scores a power play goal from the lone slot, putting the Caps up 5-0, with assists from Nicklas Backstrom and Evgeny Kuznetsov. Heading into the second intermission, coming back for the third period, Dylan Larkin scores himself a little goal at 1:03. But 9:33 into the third, one Mr. Alexander Ovechkin, whom I love, scores his 25th of the season. His 25th. And the hats rain down. That's hat trick number 1 of the week. Gustav Nyquist manages to score the Detroit Red Wings another low goal at 16:42 into the third, but it doesn't matter much. The final score, 6-2. Moving right along to Friday night, Washington versus the Carolina Hurricanes, which is a very difficult team for me because the Carolina Hurricanes have a disproportionate number of my personal favorite good boys, like Dougie Hamilton, who goes to museums, Justin Williams, who's your hot stepdad, you know what I'm saying? But I hate them. In this game, it was because Scott Darling can shit the bed for a full calendar year, and then as soon as we come in to see him, he remembers he's an NHL goalie. It's irritating. 41 seconds into the contest, I didn't catch his first name, Martinuk scores himself a little goal, putting the Carolina Hurricanes up over the Capitals 1-0. However, 3:56 into the first period, one Mr. Alexander Ovechkin, whom I love, scores his 26th of the season, tying the game up at 1. Unfortunately, in the first period, Sebastian Aho dings Braden Holtby for a goal. The Caps go into the first intermission, down 2-1. Coming back into the second period, Sebastian Aho once again, and then Teravainen. Caps are down 4-1 halfway through the second period. My blood pressure is through the roof. I'm like, God damn it, Scott Darling, this is just rude. Rude. Put the force field away. Please. Rude. 12:37 into the second period, Tom Wilson scores his 9th of the season to make the score 4-2 with an assist from Evgeny Kuznetsov. 17:25 into the second period, Alexander Ovechkin, whom I love, scores his 27th with assists from Nick Dowd and John Carlson, making the score 4-3. And I'm starting to get excited at this point. And then 18-19 into the second period, Travis Boyd scores his 3rd of the season with assists from John Carlson and Nick Dowd, who quietly, Nick Dowd had a 3-point night. He had 3 assists last year. tying the game at 4, headed into the second intermission. And then in the third period, Martinek does a bad, goes off for 2 minutes. Here's Alexander Ovechkin at 9:49 into the third period. Alexander Ovechkin scores his 28th of the season on the power play, putting the Caps up 5-4. Braden Holtby made a mistake. Go around the boards, buddy. Go around the boards. On a penalty kill, Braden Holtby decided to try and clear the puck over the goal, bounces off the net, and directly to Justin Williams' tape. Justin Williams ties the game up at 5. We're headed to overtime. No scoring in the 3-on-3 overtime. Should we go to the shootout? Nicholas Backstrom puts the biscuit in the basket. Jacob Vrana puts the biscuit in the basket. Caps win 6-5. That's a 4-game winning streak and 2 hat tricks from Alexander Ovechkin, whom I love. Okay, moving on to last night's game, which was super enjoyable. The Washington Capitals versus the Buffalo Sabres, whom I discovered that this is like the only Atlantic team other than the Toronto Maple Leafs where I know who they are. Jack Eichel, I know who that is. Rasmus Dahlin, I know who that is. Rasmus Ristolainen, I know who that is. Jeff Skinner, he's a good boy. Connor Sherry, who used to be the only Pittsburgh Penguin that I secretly liked. I know who they are. Anyway, the Washington Capitals win against the Buffalo Sabres 4-3 in the shootout. 2:41 into the first, Jack Eichel scores as a power play expires. So it doesn't actually count as a power play goal for Jack Eichel, but Michael Kempny was still in the box. So a penalty kill problem. It's okay. You know why it's okay? It's okay because at 3:39 into the first period, Brett Connolly scores his 7th of the season with an assist from Devontae Smith-Pelly, tying the game up at 1. And then 9:41 into the first period, my sweet son, young Mr. Jacob Vrana, scores his 10th of the season, putting the Caps up 2-1, headed into the first intermission. However, in the second period, both Jack Eichel and Rasmus Dahlin ding the Caps for power play goals, putting them up 3-2. It's a penalty kill problem. However, at 13:46 into the second period, one Mr. Alexander Ovechkin, whom I love, scores his 29th of the season with assists from Nicholas Backstrom and Dmitry Orlov, tying the game up at 3. 29 goals in 32 games. There's no scoring in the third or the overtime. It was fun though. It's not like there weren't scoring chances. So we go to the shootout again. Number 92, Mr. Evgeny Kuznetsov puts the biscuit in the basket, and so does one Mr. Alexander Ovechkin. Of course, this doesn't count toward his goal total. It does, however, decide the game in favor of the Washington Capitals, 4-3. You guys, I love Alex Ovechkin. This is nuts. This is superhuman. The man is superhuman. And we are the same age. And I spent yesterday pulling carpet staples out of a floor, and my entire body is dying. He has been playing not exactly a quiet brand of hockey for 14 seasons, and he's still with 29 goals in 32 games. He's had a point in every single Caps win, goals in 10 of their last 11. We stand a legend. And here's the salt for this week. I am just saying that if Sidney Crosby had won the Stanley Cup and come back the next season ready and raring to go and had 29 goals in 32 games, had at least a point in every single one of his team's wins, I would not be able to get away from people talking about it. I would be in my car listening to Steve Dangle, listening to 31 Thoughts, and it would be Crosby, 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 Crosby. I'm just saying. I am just saying. And you know I'm not wrong. Everyone's just so used to Alexander Ovechkin being extraordinary that it's not news anymore. Well, guess what? He's still extraordinary. Right. So that was week 11. God, the season's just rolling right along, isn't it? It's December. I'm moving. There's a lot happening. There's several games. There's a couple of holidays, which I am not ready for. Do you see a tree? No. Do you see my Washington Capitals ornaments? No. This has been Kate, your Salty Caps fan, for week 11 of the NHL regular season, and I'll see you next week. Bye.